Hello again. Welcome back. Today we're going to look at something that's been asked for a lot actually. We're going to look at the market graph. So I'm going to try to explain this to you in the most simplest terms possible. So let's see what we can see. We'll go to the market screen. And in order to explain this the best way, we really need to use an item that has a high volume of trade. So we'll go to our manufacture and research and go look at titanium. And there we are, our titanium market. Let's go look at the price history. And there it is. So let's get acquainted with this. First of all, we have the option to go see the table version. We are not going to cover that this time, so let's go back to the graph. And the next one is the time range of the historics, and we'll go look at the entire year. And well, it does look a bit confusing. A lot of dots and lines and whatnots. So let's just see if we can explain it. Let's go look at 3 months instead. At the lowest end, you have the volume traded, and as you can see, it's trading somewhere between 2 billion and maybe 500 million units each day. So yeah, as you can tell, there's an average of about 1 billion. So there's your volume. You always want to pay attention to the volume, because going into a trade where there's hardly no volume at all, then it's actually not worth it, or the margin has to be really big. So let's go look at the other details. Well, you can see there's a green line and there's a red line, and above in the map you'll be able to tell that the moving average of 5 days is the red line. That means it's actually the average prices taking over the last 5 days. And you can see here it's above the green line, and here it's going below the green line, and then it just goes up and down a bit. But let's look at the other one, the green one. It's actually the 20-day average. As you can see, it's more straight, which would be expected since we're using a 20-day average. So the numbers get more closely together. And what you actually want to pay attention to here is that when you have a 5-day average above the 20-day average, that basically indicates that the prices are going up. Because if it's higher over a short period than the long period, of course the trend will be going upwards. And the reverse is true. So when the green is above the red, you will see that the red is actually pulling the green average down. So in these days, you would actually be interested in buying and then selling and selling and buying and selling. Well, the buy low and sell high, we already covered that. The next thing we want to look at is the straight yellow lines. That's actually the prices traded that day. Let's go look at 10 days, then it's a bit easier. Oh, yeah, I said that a bit too early. But as you can tell here, what will that be, around the 18th? You can see the prices traded has been from around 3.9 all the way up to 4.1516. And you'll be able to see the little yellow dot. That's actually the daily median. The daily median is basically taken from all the prices traded and then taking the one in the middle, basically just adding them up and dividing by the number of trades. So this number is not volume sensitive, it's order or finished orders sensitive. So that's your yellow dot. What's next? Well, of course, this strange thing that everyone keeps asking about and talking about, the Dungeon channel. The dungeon channel is basically the trend or the trading habit over time. It's based on 5 days in Eve, and what you will basically see is that the yellow line is actually sort of spanning the development of the dungeon channel. So if you have, like this day, a trade going all the way down here, it will actually expand the dungeon channel for the next 5 days, and then it will revert back to something more normal. Here we can see it's actually based on this day, so it's going back exactly 5 days after. What it usually means when you look at the dungeon channel, it means that your trading is trending down here. That's usually the players selling to the market, so it's actually the filling of the buy orders, and up here it's actually taking from the market, so that's players buying it off the market. So what you want to do, usually this tool is used for investing in futures, the contract for difference, or short selling. So you would look at the steps, the stairs, and either you would start selling short or you would get back to normal trading. Of course, when the price is going down, you would sell short, because you would sell things that you didn't own yet, and then you would just buy it up to cover it later on. But that doesn't really exist in Eve, as far as I'm informed. So that's not that important. Have we covered everything? I actually think we did. So what you want to do is always look at your red line, and that will be able to tell you the trend. We might actually just go do one last thing. Yeah. If you look at the shortest range of time, the 5-day range, you will be able to see a prognosis of where the Eve client, or where the trend is going, and it's actually giving you an idea that it might do something like this. So basically you'll see that the difference between the 20-day moving average and the 5-day moving average is going closer together, and thus becoming more narrow, so your margin is going away. So this is not an interesting market when we get to this point, unless the volumes are humongous. So I think that covered it. Then let's try to see some of the differences just before we finish off. This is over the last month of Tritanium in Essence region, and it's a rather nice dungeon, really wide, so there's actually a large opportunity of earning some good ISK. Let's see Pyrite, also rather wide. We can see it's actually trending downwards. It's been doing that a lot. If we look at the whole year, it's been crashing a bit. So let's go back to the month. Let's look at something a bit more expensive. Let's look at Morphite, that little rare goodie. See, it's a really narrow band on the dungeon, so there is money to be made, but it's not a lot, and the volumes aren't that impressive. So this is not, at least not my favorite market. So let's try looking at something a bit easier. Megasite. I usually trade a lot in Megasite because I can actually get a huge margin on that. Examples are here, where you go from the 2900 area and all the way up to 3400, and it can actually go even higher if someone really needs it. They often do. Let's look at something a bit stranger just to finish off. Let's look at the strontium. Then we get into all the player-owned structure business. As you can see, there's a really wide dungeon, so there's potentially a lot to be made, and it's looking like it's trending upwards, but this is actually a market manipulation event. As you can see here, it actually goes way off chart and starts rising in a really weird manner. Uh, and you can actually go research the forums using forum search, and you can actually find out that this was a manipulation and it was quite intentional. And you can see it's reverting back to normal levels. It's actually crashing quite fast these last 2 days. So keep your eyes open for these things, and if you're in doubt and really want some advice, ask someone that might know. So good luck with your trades.